chamira the sa'ari, or we'll say chamira, right? Remember again, this is the season. So chamira means the chametz. What it more specifically means, I will say, is more like a anything that causes something else to become chametz. So let's say, you have the chametz agent of wheat and the chametz and the chamira of sari that get mixed together. And again, one of them is permitted, one of them is prohibited. Now, what is the Gemara drilling down to in this? Called vinegar. They're both called chamira. Yet they come from different. What is it? So the Gemara says, Abaye says, bino sein tam. Abaye says that at the end prohibited if there's enough for it to infuse tam, to infuse flavor in the permitted item. Why? Because basar taima azlinon. Because Abaye says, when determining if items are similar or dissimilar, we look at their tastes. And even though, again, they're both called vinegar, nevertheless, they both have different tastes. Therefore, we'll say this is considered to be like a mixture of two dissimilar items. And I will say when you have a mixture of two dissimilar items, ultimately, again, it is only prohibited if it infuses flavor. Rava says, Rava says, no, we'll say in these cases of the mixtures, they will answer even if there's just a small amount of the prohibited item. Why? Basar shmazlinon, because we'll say Rava after the name of the item. V'hai chala mikri, v'hai chamira mikri, v'hai chamira mikri. Both of these items are called vinegar. Both of these items are called chamira, and therefore, again, even though their tastes are dissimilar, because their identity, their names are similar, therefore what? Therefore, halacha l'maaseh it's min b'mino, and therefore, the Gemara says, Amar Abaye. So we'll say, so what it seems to come down to over here is a fundamental machlokes in Abaye and Rava as to what the let me say differently. What they're really arguing about is as possible. So everybody agrees on the principles. The principles are min b'she'ein amino. If you have two dissimilar items that are mixed together, the prohibited item will only go ahead and prohibit the permitted item if what? If there's enough of a volume of the prohibited item to infuse flavor into the permitted item. We call that no sein tam. Then any amount of the prohibited item can go ahead and prohibit the permitted item, which of makes sense because there's no sein tam, there's no infusion of flavor. Why? Is ultimately, again, how do you define similar or dissimilar items? Abaye says that at the end of the day, the way we define similar are considered to be the same, even if their names are different. However, on the flip side, items that taste dissimilar are considered to be dissimilar, even if they share the same exact name. Rava says the opposite. Rava says no, similar items are defined as items which carry the same name, even if what? Their tastes are dissimilar. So we'll say, this is exactly what we just saw. So for example, beer vinegar and wine vinegar gets mixed together. What's the halachic definition of that mixture? Is that min b'mino, therefore asr b'mashu, or is it min b'she'ino mino, and therefore only asr b'nesinas tam? Abaye says vinegar is vinegar is vinegar. They're both called vinegar, so it's a min b'mino mixture. Even though again they obviously have dissimilar tastes. Ultimately, again, Rava's going to say no, it's min b'she'ino mino. I'm sorry, I said the opposite. I'm sorry. Abaye is going to say that even though they share the same name, because they have different tastes, that it's going to be min b'she'eno mino, a dissimilar mixture. Rava will say they're both called vinegar, therefore it's called min b'mino. So we'll say now the Gemara says, where do they glean these respective shitos from? Samar Abaye mina min Allah the basar time azlina. So Abaye says, from where do I know that in determining whether items are similar or dissimilar, we go after the name? Where do I know that from? Tisanya, because we'll say we learned Tavlin, Beis v'gimel shemos v'hein min echad. So listen to this. So he brings this out from the following case. If you have spices that have two or three different names, but they're all of one species, min gimel, or three different species, asurin umitzarfin. They are asra and they come out. Now what's the case over here? Look at Rashi. Rashi Divrei Maskil Tavlin. It's in the shorter lines of Rashi, about 5 lines in. So Tavlin Shnayim v'gimel shemos v'hein min echad. Omen Gimel Asurim and Sarf. And listen to this. Achi Garcinon, B'Meseches Arla. We'll say this is a Mishnah from Meseches Arla. Gimel Shemos Ve'ein Min Echad. We'll say, let's say you have something that you have 3 items that each of them has a different name, but they're all of the same family, all of the same species. For example, Kigon, pilpel lavan, pilpel shachar, pilpel aruch. So we'll say, for example, we have white pepper, black pepper, a long pepper, omin gimel, shemos, yeshlan asurim mitzarfin. So let's listen to this. You have all these different kinds of pepper. They're all called pepper. And I will say, this is assuming right now that let's say they're arla. There's some type of prohibited pepper. In other words, the status of the pepper is prohibited. And they get mixed in. So, im naful l'kedera, v'lo b'zekedi l'tabal, v'lo b'zekedi l'tabal, v'nitztarfu v'tiblu. V'hein shalis. Well, listen to this case. Each of the peppers on their own does not have the ability to infuse any kind of taste into the food item. But what? When combined, they do infuse flavor into the pot. I should say into the cooked item. So what's the halacha? Vehein shal iser, and I will say these are all, we'll call it aser peppers, they're all arla, let's say. Mitzaref and la'arsa, ors osra. They combine ultimately again to aser, that which is being cooked in the pot. B'mechizki hacha dekamar min gimel v'gimel shemos she'le mitzarfin afagav de tlasa minininu ubishma nami lo shabbos. We'll say, what do you see from here? You see from here that the three peppers combine, even though what? They have three different names. But at the end of the day, because what? Because they all have the same taste. Therefore, even though they have different names, they are able to go ahead and combine in order to answer the food in which they are being cooked. So the Gemara says, Chizkiah says, what's the case over here? The mine mesika askinan. Both say these types of peppers that are here are there in order to go ahead and literally add flavor to the cooked dish. Rashi says, the mine mesika askinan shekulan taiman masuk. So they are all united in their avoda of adding flavor to the cooked item. So we'll say, so what do you see from here? What do you see from here? So we'll say, listen to this. So now, what's the halacha telling me? We'll say, the halacha is something like this. If I have three different peppers of arla, a white pepper, a black pepper, a long pepper, and they all fall into the pot. Each one individually does not impart enough flavor in order to ask the pot. These are of orla. They don't have enough isser. They don't have enough flavor. But when you combine them, they all go ahead and impart enough of an arla flavor in order to go ahead and ask the pot. So we'll say, what's the halacha? The halacha is they combine. They combine ultimately again to form a shira of isser of arla in order to go ahead and answer that which is in the pot. So it says the Gemara, I amit bishlama. Basar Taima Azlin. I will say first wide line Samich Vav Modalif. So if you say that I will say when defining like items or I should say similar items or dissimilar items, we go after the taste. We don't go after what they're called, but we go after the taste. Then Kuli Chad Taimahu. Then I will say the reason why all of these peppers combine, I will say, is that even though they have different names, this is a black pepper, this is a white pepper, this is a long pepper, whatever the names are, we don't care about the names. What we care about is the taste. And since the tastes are similar, therefore, by definition, they have the ability to combine. Which Rabbi says, Abaye Shita, Eli Amrit Basar Shma Azlinon. But if you say that we go after the name, then what? Hai Shma Lochod, V'Hai Shma Lochod. Then Rabbi say, in that case, they have dissimilar names. So therefore, what do you see from here? Abaye says, you see from this Mishnah, Maseches Arla, that when determining if items are similar or dissimilar, Rabbi say, what do we look at? We look at their flavor. We look at their flavor, right? As long as they have the same tam, the same flavor, even if they have dissimilar names, that will be called min b'mino. Rava Amar Lacha, Rava will say, Hamani Rabbi Meir. Rava will say, no, Abaye, my good friend, that Mishnah in Maseches Arla doesn't prove your point. That Mishnah in Maseches Arla is actually reflective of someone else's opinion. Whose opinion is that? That's Rabbi Meir. What does Rabbi Meir say? Disanya, Rabbi Hudo or Mishor Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Hudo says in the name of Rabbi Meir. How do we know in general that all these surim will say, combine with one another to form a prohibited shir? Shene'emar, lo sochal kol toeva. The pasuk says, you shall not eat anything that is an abomination. Kol sheti avti lacha, anything which I have made abominable to you, harehu b'bal tochal. We'll say, Meir is actually of the opinion, we'll say, that all items that are asr ba'achila all combine together to form a shir. Even if they have dramatically different tastes, even if they have obviously different names, they all combine together. So Rav is saying Abaye, this doesn't back you up. Because Abaye, what you say is items that have the same taste, even if what? They have different names combined together. This Mishnah and Allah is actually something more dramatic than what you're saying. This Mishnah in Orla is reflecting the view of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir holds that everything that is Asr combines together. Everything that is Asr, independent of name, independent of taste, it all comes together. Therefore, Rava says to Abaye, the Mishnah in Orla is not a raya to you. So the Gemara goes weiter. So again, the machlokas in Abaye and Rava still stands. Abaye says at the end of the day, we go after taste. Taste is the determinant as to whether items are considered to be chala l'go chamra. We'll say, what happens if you have vinegar, which is poured into wine? So we'll say, what's the case over here? Look at Rashi. Chala shenafa l'go chamra. Rashi says over here, chala de iser. You have prohibited vinegar, that the go chamra, that fell into permitted wine. So we'll say, what's the halacha? So divrei hakol b'no seintam. Everyone agrees that the wine will only become prohibited if what? If there is enough vinegar that's poured in to alter the taste of the wine. Now look at that Rashi again for just a moment. Chala shnafa l'go chamra, chala de iser l'go chamra de heter. So we'll say you have prohibited vinegar, which falls into permitted wine. Divrei hakol b'no seintam. Everyone agrees that it's only usher if there's enough vinegar that falls in to alter the taste of the wine. Why? D'chinacha legave lo havi damile. Because also when the vinegar falls into the wine, the vinegar is not similar to the wine at all. Lo berecha v'lo b'taima, not in its smell, not in its scent, and not in its taste. She'in hayayin mevatel reach hachometz ad shenisra b'lesocho v'lo hachometz mevatel reach hayayin mishum deru b'chamra. So we'll say, so the wine is not mevatel the scent, nor is it mevatel the taste of the vinegar, and the vinegar, of course, is not mevatel the scent or the taste of the wine unless there's enough of a shir. So we'll say, so if you have prohibited vinegar which falls into wine, that mixture will only be usher if there's enough vinegar to infuse taste into the wine. However, chamra l'go chala. What's what happens in the flip case? What happens if you have wine being poured into vinegar? So it's actually quite interesting. Abaye amar b'mashu, v'Rava amar b'no seintam. Abaye says any amount. If the wine falls into the vinegar, any amount will answer the vinegar. And Rava says no, it has to infuse taste. So we'll say, look at the last Rashi. Aval chamer l'go chalo, misha she'egia la'avir akli, nepar chayayin berecho, l'reach hachometz. So we'll say that's actually quite interesting. So apparently, because of the pungency of vinegar, so if you pour wine into a container that houses vinegar, already the strong odor of the vinegar fundamentally changes the odor of the wine immediately as the wine is poured in. So the kodim shenis arvu havi shaven berechan. Therefore, we'll say even before they get mixed together, once the wine is introduced into the container holding the vinegar, so the scent of the wine immediately changes. So we'll say at this point in time, even once it's being poured, even once before the liquid has contact with the other liquid, the scent is fundamentally changed. So everyone will say, what's the status of this mixture? So Abaye says, therefore again, it will go ahead. The wine will aser b'mashu. Rava amar b'no seintam. Rava says ultimately again, not until it infuses taste. So says the Gemara, Abaye amar b'mashu. So Abaye says ultimately again, it is aser b'mashu. Why Rava say amar beis? Because reiche chala v'taima chamra chala. Because we'll say if you have something that smells like vinegar but tastes like wine, it's called vinegar. We'll say which makes sense because remember, Abaye is the one who said before that what? Now we'll say actually I take that back. So remember again, we're now expanding the scope here a little bit to speak about smell, to speak about scent. So Abaye says if it goes ahead and it smells like vinegar but it tastes like wine, it's going to be treated like vinegar. Take a look at the top Rashi. We'll say Samech Vav Amud Beis. Rashi says Reiche Chala Yayin Zeh Samoch LeEruvo Haya Reiche Chala V'Taima Chamra. So V'Taima Chamra. So let's remember again, as you just said before, the Gemara is making not the assumption. This is the Metzias. That's when wine is poured. So therefore, again, Rashi says Yayin Zeh Samoch LeEruvo Haya Reiche Chala. Even before the wine actively gets mixed in with the vinegar, its scent has already changed to vinegar, but yet it still tastes like wine. We're going to go after the smell. Therefore, I will say, if we go after the smell, that means again, the smell is transformed into vinegar. Therefore, once it gets mixed in, it's considered to be what? A mixture of vinegar with vinegar, which is what I will say, min bamino, two similar items, and min bamino is going to be usher even b'mashu, even with a minute amount. So the Gemara says that's Abaye. So we'll say now what we're seeing is as follows. Not only does Abaye hold that taste, but I would just expand this to say that what? Smell. Scent is also a determinant. That if two items smell the same, then by definition, again, that's considered to be min b'mino. Rava says no, but no same time. Rava says no. Ultimately, again, the wine will only prohibit the vinegar if there's enough of a wine infusion to infuse flavor into the vinegar. Why? Because we'll say if you have something that smells like vinegar but tastes like wine, chamra. We'll say that is called wine. So Rava says again, it smells like vinegar, tastes like wine. We go after the taste. Therefore, Rava says this is considered to be like a mixture of two dissimilar items. And I will say anytime you have a mixture of two dissimilar items, ultimately again it's only going to be asr if it infuses taste. So we'll say, so now what we've done over here is we've gone and we've expanded the machlokas of Abaye and Rava. So when determining, remember again, the fundamental machlokas, what is the definition of min b'mino versus min b'sheno? How do you define similar items versus dissimilar items? So Abaye teaches me two things. So similarity versus dissimilarity is gauged by ta'am, taste, and reach, and scent. If items have the same taste and the same scent, then by definition that's called min b'mino. If they do have dissimilar taste or dissimilar sense, then that's min b'she'ino mino. Rava says we focus on names. We focus on the name of the item. If they have dissimilar names, then by definition, ultimately again, it is called min b'she'ino mino, and we don't care about smell. We do not care about the scent of the items at all. We'll say fundamental machlokas. Fundamental machlokas, fine. So the Gemara says as we're now going to pass in like Abaye, that at the end of the day, when determining min b'mino, min b'sheno mino, we're going to look at the names of the items, and scent has nothing to do with the nature of the mixtures. We don't pay attention to the scent of the item when determining min b'mino, min b'sheno mino. Okay, but we'll see that more. We'll say the Gemara introduces another very interesting case. Hai bas tiha. We'll say, listen to this. What's a bas tiha? Look at Rashi. We'll say second line from the top, bas tiha. Rashi says, "Nekev nokfim b'megufas chavis la'ariach hasayin lebotko im yuchal lehiskayos." Well, so listen to this. It's actually quite interesting. So they used to go ahead and make a hole in the barrel, or there was a hole in the barrel. And I will say would allow someone to go ahead and smell the wine to see what the quality of the wine was. So a special hole to be able to see what to say, but to smell the wine. But if you look at Tosas, we'll say just a moment, Tosas says, it's the top Tosas, Samach Vav Madays, Bastia, Perish HaKuntrus, Nokvin Nekev B'megufas Chaves Lahariach. So they used to put a little hole in the barrel, right? B'megufas Chaves means the seal of the barrel, in order to go ahead and smell the wine. So Miu Lashon Bas Kasha, Perish Rabbeinu Chanan, I'll also listen to this. Rabbeinu Chanan has a different approach. He says, Sheyesh Kana Shakua B'Soch HaChaves, Ubole Tchutz, Umanichin L'Soch Kana Katan, Kamin Dad, Umarichin Derech Oso Dad. So we'll say this is actually interesting. Tosas is a little bit differently. Rashi says it's just a hole, right? It's a hole in the seal of the barrel to be able to smell the wine. Tosas it's a bit more complicated than that. It's an opening in a barrel into which a larger tube was inserted. Then what would happen? You would come along and insert a smaller tube into that larger tube, and you would smell the wine through that smaller tube. That's what Tosas says is the bas kiha. Umarikin derech oso dad. Umushkin naket bas gamishashi beushashi shebesoch oso. Fine. So we'll say so. In any event, the quality of the wine. So we'll say so. Now watch this. Hai bas tia. So we'll say listen to this. Ovid kochavim b'di so shapir dami. So we'll say so. What happens if an akum smells the wine of a Jew? So we'll say, so what does the Gemara say? Shapir dami, that is absolutely fine. Meaning, again, I will say, in other words, the akum cannot go ahead and asr the wine of a Jew by smelling it. You've already established that. The akum could only asr the wine of a Jew, how I will say, how? Through touching it, right? And now through touching it, through shikshuks, through some type of agitation. So if an akum comes along and through the baskia smells my wine, ultimately, again, totally fine. However, listen to this. We'll say, what happens if a Jew, or is a Jew permitted to smell the wine of an akum? Because remember, what is this a shayla over here? What is the shayla? The shayla of reach. Does scent have halachic significance or not? That was the machlokas Abaye and Rava just before in the case of pouring the wine of the wine into the vinegar. So Abaye says it's aser. Rava says it's mutter. Why? Abaye Amar aser. Abaye says it's aser. Why? Rava say reicha milsihi. Because remember again, Abai just taught us that what? Scent is significant. Because let's go back for a second. That's why Abai said that if you pour the wine into the vinegar, then what? That is considered to be a mixture of min bamino. Two similar items. What do you mean two similar items? Because remember, what is Abai says? What happens? Because we will say the scent of the wine is transformed by the pungency of the vinegar even before it gets mixed into the vinegar. And scent is significant. Therefore, Abai says, because scent is significant, I can't go and smell the wine of the Akum Bosai because that will be called getting Hana from Yayin Esech, potentially Yayin Esech. That is a form of Hana, that is a form of benefit, a tangible form of benefit, a significant form of benefit, and therefore, again, it will be Aser. Rava Amar Mutter, Reichalav Milsihi. Rava says it's fine. It's scent. Bosai scent because it's not tangible. Therefore, again, will not be asr ba'ana. Therefore, Rava says, I can go ahead and smell it. Rava say, just so you understand, like I said to you before, we paskin like Rava, that in general, reichalav milsihi, that scent is not significant. So therefore, halacha lemaisa, just so you should know this, in case it comes up today, one is permitted to smell akum wine, right? Can't drink it, right? Obviously, again, can't, but you are permitted to go ahead. A person gets a gishmak like that, you're permitted to go ahead and smell that. So that's not called hana. That's the point. Scent is not called hana. That's what Rav is telling us. Reichalav milsi means reach is nothing. Scent is meaningless. Therefore, the act, even though I'm enjoying smelling the wine, that's not called halachic hana. Amar Rav, so let's listen to this. Rav says, from where do I know that scent is insignificant? Where do I know that from? Listen to this, Rav. This is actually an interesting case. Disnan, because we learned tanur sheisiku bikamon shel truma. So we'll say, so an oven which was fired up, which was heated up with kamon. We'll say kamon is cumin of truma. So we'll say I have cumin truma, right? So again, right? Cumin of truma. So we'll say the spice cumin, cumin, right? So I fire up the oven, I heat up the oven with this spice. Now we'll say, as a result, what happens? Tanur she'sikabal b'kamon shel truma va'afa boas apas. And now I bake bread in it. So we'll say, see now what happens? The bread has the smell of cumin. I will say the cumin is truma. I'm not a Kohen. So we'll say, see now the shaila is what? The shaila is, what is the status of this bread? We'll say, what's the halacha? So avos hapas muteres. We'll say the Brisa says, or actually the Mishnah says, that the bread is permitted. Why? Lefi shein tam kimon ela reicha kimon. Because we'll say ultimately again because there's no flavor of the cumin, but rather again what is there? There's only the smell. So we'll say, so what do you see from here? And I will say, now this, by the way, this Mishnah doesn't record a machlokes. This Mishnah just makes a definitive statement. The bread is going to be permitted because ultimately, again, all there is the scent of truma, no taste of truma. So what do you see from here? I will say, what do you see from here? Reicha lav milsihi. That scent is halachically insignificant. So Rava says, this is the basis for my shita. This is the basis for my position. So what is Abaye going to say? This Abaye will say, will counter. He'll say, shiny hasam demikli isura. You can't compare the cases. He'll say, why? Because by the time you're putting the bread in the oven, the cumin is already gone. I don't know. Remember again, the cumin was used to heat up the oven, but the cumin is already gone. So because the object itself is already gone, even Abaye will agree that smell, which is not tethered to a physically existing object, is insignificant. Abaye is saying when the smell emanates from something which is be'en, which is in existence, that's when the smell is significant. But if the smell is emanating from something that has essentially already been destroyed, no longer in existence, even Abaye will say that the smell is insignificant. So it's actually very interesting. What Abaye is saying again is that even Abaye, who says Reicha Milsa, Reicha's only Milsa when the smell, which is an intangible, is actively tethered to something definable and tangible. But if the smell is detached from something definable and tangible, then what? Even Abaye will agree that Reicha lav milsihi. Very interesting. But so let's go weiter. Amar Amari Ketanai. Amari said the truth is, this machlokes Abaye and Rava is really a machlokes tonight. We'll say it's earlier machlokes. Listen to this case. It's actually very, very, very interesting. So the Gemara says as follows. Harode paschama. We'll listen to this. I take out hot bread from the oven. The nosna api chavishayan shel truma. Now let's listen to this case. I put it on top of a Rabbi say this obviously I'm not a Kohen. Right? If I'm a Kohen, there's no problem over here because you can get hana from Truma. I'm not a Kohen. So I say, so what happens? I take my hot bread, I put it on top of a barrel of Truma wine. Rabbi Meir Oser. Rabbi Meir says it is Aser. Rabbi Yehuda Matir. And Rabbi Yehuda says it's mutter. It's mutter. So I'll say, so what's happening over here? Look at Rashi just a moment. Rabbi Meir Oser. Lefisha Shabbos Rechaim. We'll see even before we go on, we're making the session. Rabbi Meir is going to say, why is the bread Aser? Because the hot bread absorbs the reach, absorbs the scent of the wine. And Rabbi Meir apparently holds that Recha Milsi, like Abayi's position of Recha Milsi, must be reflective ultimately again of Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir ultimately holds the bread is going to be Aser. Rabbi Yehuda holds the bread is going to be Mutter. And therefore, why is the bread going to be Mutter? Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, Reach Lav Milsi, scent is not significant. Rabbi Yossi, so listen to this. Now there's another Shita. Rabbi Yossi, Matir B'Shel Chitin, Va'oser B'Shel So'orin. Rabbi Yossi has an interesting Shita. He holds that if the bread is made from wheat, it's going to be mutter, but if it's of barley, it's going to be aser. Why the distinction of Osai? Because apparently the quality of barley is that barley absorbs scent, whereas wheat does not. Okay, so he makes that distinction. So we'll say, so leaving Rabbi Yossi aside, what is the machlokis Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda? My love b'halkamifli. They're not arguing about the following point. Demar savarei chamil sihi. Rabbi Meir who holds that when you put the hot loaf on the top of the barrel of Truma wine, the loaf is going to be aser. He holds that it's aser. Why? Because Recha Milsi, scent is significant, and therefore again, this loaf absorbed the scent of Truma wine, therefore it's going to be aser. Umar Savar, as Rabbi Huda will hold, it's Recha Velo Klumhiu, that Reach, scent, is insignificant, therefore again I will say the loaf remains permitted. To which the Gemara says yes. The Rava Vadai Tanai. Rava will have to say that indeed this is a machlokes Tanai. Rava will say yes, whether or not scent is significant is indeed a machlokes Tanai. Rava will say Rava himself, who holds that scent is insignificant, will align himself with the sheet of Rabbi Huda. On the other hand, La Abaye Milema Tanai. Rava will say Abaye will say maybe not. Maybe it's not a machlokes Tanai. Maybe really everyone agrees that scent is significant. What's happening in this mission over here by the bread? So the Gemara says, Amalacha Abaye, Lav mi itmar Allah. Did we not comment? Was it not commented on this particular Mishnah? Amar Rabba Rachana Amar Reish Lakish. Bepas. Well, so listen to this. So Abaye says something very interesting. You're providing selective quotations, right? There is more to this discussion than you are saying. Let's finish the discussion. I will say, what was the end of that discussion about the loaf of bread and the truma wine? So Amar Rabba Barchan Amar Reish Lakish, Bepas Chama, the Chavis Psucha. If you have hot bread and an open barrel, both on top of Samech Zayin, Divrei Hakol Asura. Both listen to this. If you have hot bread and an open barrel, everyone agrees that the bread is asur. Why, Rabbi say? Because everyone will agree that in that circumstance, Reach Milsihi. Right, that the scent of the truma wine gets absorbed into the bread. Bepas sonenes v'chavis muguva. If you have a cold loaf of bread and a closed barrel, we'll say then what? Divrei akol muteres. Everyone will agree that's what? Everyone will agree that it's muter. Why do I say? Because if the bread is cold, and the barrel is closed, there's no reach transference happening over here. So we'll say, so what is the machlokes? Lo nechleku ella bepaschama v'chavis megufa. We'll say the machlokes case is in a case of hot bread and a closed barrel, or pas sonenes v'chavis psucha. Ultimately, again, cold bread and an open barrel. So we'll say that. So Abai says that's the machlokes. V'hadidi, and I will say my case. What's my case? Look at Rashi. V'hadidi hai bas tiha. The asarna, I will say that case of the sniffing of the wine through the tube, right? That case ultimately, again, remember what Abai said. Abai said that a Jew cannot sniff the wine, cannot smell the wine of the akum through the tube, through the bastia, because that's called hana from the wine of an akum. The chavis, so he says, v'hadidi, my case of the bastia, of the tube, kepaschama v'chavis psucha dami. He says, my case of the tube is that type of scent is the equivalent to the case of what? Hot bread and an open barrel. And the case of hot bread and the open barrel, everyone agrees that what? that it's going to be usher. Therefore, Abaye says the same way everybody agrees in the case of the hot bread open barrel that it's usher, so too they will agree in the case of the bastia, in the case of smelling the wine through the tube, that it will be usher as well. So we'll say, so Rava will say that yes, whether or not reach is significant, ultimately again as a machlokes tanoim. Abaye says not necessarily. Abaye says that it could very well be that everyone agrees that under normal circumstances, ultimately again reach is significant. Then the machlokes case is how far we extend reach. Do we extend reach even to a case ultimately again of a cold loaf and an open barrel or not? But in my case as Abaye, of sniffing the wine through the tube, sniffing wine of the akl through the tube, everyone will agree that it is us. So as we mentioned before, we paskin against Abaye in both of these cases. We paskin like Rava, and therefore halacha l'maisa. First of all, we hold reach lav milsihi. Scent is not significant. We'll say, by the way, that's not necessarily true in all cases. There are certain circumstances where scent, where smell will be significant. But for our purposes today, in this sugya, scent is not significant. Therefore, again, a Jew is permitted to go ahead and actively smell the wine of the akum. And even though, again, he is getting, we'll call it all effect. Again, furthermore, beforehand, when determining min b'mina, what's the definition of like items, dissimilar items, we also accept Rava's approach that ultimately, again, the definition of like items is basar shma. We go after the names of the items, not after the scent, not even after the taste, but we go after the names in terms of determining whether or not this is min b'mino,